One of the little people. I really didn't. Good for
Listen,
you.
my aunt told me when I was young that our people are built low to the ground for speed and comfort.
I
All
hear
right.
that.
There
Well,
you
whatever
go.
makes you feel better.
Come
Love
on.
it. Love
Amen.
it.
All right. I want to play this video here that I run across on X. This brother's going off. So there's a couple of clips that I want to play for you guys, and then we'll get into it and we'll go from there. All right. Hit that like button, folks.
This, y'all, man. Donald Trump said some shit that I think all of us wanted to say, man. Especially when people come here and get all the good graces of the United States of America, everything that their hearts and dreams and desires to get. But then you got people like Ilhan Omar and individuals that's from other countries who migrated here and became a congresswoman, whatever the hell you are. You complain about how bad the U.S. is and how great your country is. Well, bitch, if it's so bad, then won't you take your ass back to Somalia? Like Donald Trump said, all y'all do is come over here and bitch about how bad this country is.
Sorry about the language.
But I promise you, if we didn't open the door up for y'all asses, you'll probably be dead. So you mean to tell me you're gonna come here and scam the U.S. and send that shit back to your country using our welfare system to fund terrorists? And yes, y'all motherfuckers fund terrorists. They skim off the top. I mean, come on now. When the last time you heard somebody say, we booking a trip to Mogadishu? Bitch, please. I mean, the same thing when I hear illegal immigrants come over here and demand rights. And it's so crazy that our leftists and young people are so brainwashed. Even black people on our side, they want to fight for these illegal immigrants. Bro, if you took your ass to Honduras or Colombia and did the shit that they do here, bro, your black ass wouldn't even make it. They would ship your ass right on off. It just defies logic, some of the stuff that I hear these people fight for, man. Bro, again, if the U.S. ain't shit, if the U.S. is so bad, if the U.S. is so racist, and you come from another country, like Donald Trump said, you can bitch, but won't you take your ass back home and fix that shit? You won't. I mean, we have the most blessed, generous nation in the world. But it's so crazy that people feel like they are entitled to it. No, you're not entitled to it. Especially like Donald Trump said today. You add nothing to the system. Nothing but hands. Even if you came here as a refugee, even if you came here as a asylum seeker, that just didn't automatically give you the right to go into the welfare system and live off of it for the rest of your life. Let's think about TPS. Yes, temporary protected status. Bro, everyone wants you to be protected and to stay here and to get here and not have to leave, but everybody forgets the fact of the matter is temporary. Bro, the left, you want them to stay here. And when they get here, why would you want to work? If I give you the welfare teat and you can sit on it for the rest of your life, why would I want to go anywhere? Why would I want to thrive? Why would I want to work for anything? And it's crazy when we have veterans on the street. Honestly, sometimes in this world, I just believe I'm in a whole different world, man. Common sense means nothing. And that's why I'm attracted to Donald Trump, man. His logic, man. It's straightforward. It's not sugar-coated. It's not cut. It's telling the real ass shit that we really think. What you're afraid to say. And it resonates to those who work their ass off, those who love this country, those who put in the time, those that don't need nobody to tell them what they need to do or a hand up, those that didn't come from money, those who knows how to struggle and how to get up on their feet, those who about that money to go get it. Bro, Donald Trump, keep talking your shit, bro, because me and millions others, we feel what the hell you saying. Stop all the bitching. Take your ass back home if you don't like it.
Okay, sorry about the language. Little brash, but hey, I can't say that I disagree with anything that the brother said. I really can't. He could have used better language, but this is TikTok. Again, TikTok is it's a different world over there. I want to start with you, Minister Danzel. I'll give you the first word. Go wherever you want to go with this.
All right. Well, first of all, again, I think that it's important for us as Americans to understand that our country was not founded or set up to be the dumping pot for everybody in every other country. No, we were not intending to take care of everybody. There are rules and regulations that govern our immigration laws, and he is absolutely right. Minus the cursing, the brother is right on target. I've heard people criticize President Trump. He's not a Christian. He's not a born again Christian. He's not, but he's a president of the United States, and he's talking real. I don't like the way he expressed himself sometimes, but the fact of the matter is that if you're not coming over here to this country to submit yourself to our rules and regulations and to assimilate into our countries as American citizens, you shouldn't be here. If you're not going to come here correctly, legally, you shouldn't be here. Now, my problem is with Christians who think that the attitude that the president is taking is ungodly, and they say that he's being evil by the way he's talking. Of course, you know, the race hustlers are going to say that he's being racist. The fact of the matter is he's looking out for our country. You cannot let people come in here illegally and keep their culture, keep their views about worldviews, and function in our nation. What you have as a result of that is of hundreds of different nations within a nation with their own rules and regulations and laws. And you see this is what's happening in all of our cities around our United States. You got almost whole cities taken over by Muslims and Islam. My point is that if we didn't, and it's good that we have a president now that's standing up for American citizens, because for such a long time, we had people that we just let them come in and do what they want to do. So I think this is a great thing. I think that it's a good that a leader in our country is taking a stand against illegal occupation of our country. And I think that if it's going to be a problem resolving this. It's not going to be resolved because of so many people that are in here. But I think that it's good that he's taking a stand to talk, he's at least trying to do something about it.
Crystal, I'll give you the next word.
I 100% agree with him, minus the curse words. I agree with him 100%. I've said this over and over again. My family is from the Caribbean. And I was born and raised here in America. I was raised where, yes, we have a Trinidadian culture, but we came here, my grandparents, my parents, they assimilated. They love America. They will say they're Americans. I still remember my dad saying, don't try to practice that Caribbean accent. You live here, speak like how they speak. So we can even we would have little slang Trini patois, and my dad would get on my sister in my case, do not do that. Do not do that at all. So we couldn't even do that. And it's not that you hate your Trini culture. No, but he was like, this is your country. This is our country. My parents are American citizens. My grandparents became American citizens, and we stand up for America. Now, mind you, I agree. These people come here. They come before they even get here. They talk about how much they hate America. So then why did you come over here? If you hate this place so much, why did you even come here? And please believe the same way you got here, the same way you can go back home. I don't understand why you come here and then want to complain. Go home. And them coming and getting on government assistance and all of that does not make sense to me. Because like I said, when my grandparents came to America, my grandfather had to basically provide paperwork that he was going to provide for himself and for his family. He was not going to be on government assistance. I don't know when that changed. I will leave that to Celeste, AT, Minister, somebody to figure out when they changed that in the system. But that was a whole thing. You were not allowed to come here and just sit on the government assistance. You need to be here. If you're coming in here as a, let me say the word, legal immigrant, you need to be coming here and being able to stand on your own 2 feet and take care of your family and not be on government assistance. And I feel like we need to get back to that, because when you're here and you think you could just come in here with all your problems and you're not trying to work, you're taking up all of our systems. And then you see the foolishness that happened up there in Minneapolis, with all of the fraud going back to another country, allegedly.
That's right.
This is the problem. This is why, no, you can't come on our government assistance to come and grab, because like he said, there are veterans who are out there struggling. There are people that have children that do have disabilities. They can't even get the assistance that they need, that are American citizens. So there are American citizens that are suffering while y'all are eating up all of the benefits. Absolutely not. We need to get back to the way it used to be when my grandparents came to America.
Amen.
No pushback. I want to play this next clip here, and then Chris, I'm going to give you the next word after this.
Explains why ICE is pushing up on the land, these terror cell organizations.
Administration, 40,000 ISIS and Al-Qaeda workers and soldiers infiltrated the border. We just seen Afghani shoot National Guard. In Chicago, they found an apartment filled with C4 explosives, fire department uniforms, and police officer uniforms. This ain't about the guys hanging outside the Home Depot and the 7-Eleven. Our sovereignty is under attack because the Islamic State has been named as a terror organization. That's going to trigger attacks. In the Quran, it says, kill the non-believers.
That's right.
We have 40,000 Somalis who was using the unemployment system to send money back to Al-Shabaab, the same group. I'm just out there negotiating the freedom of children. That's what's going on in our country. So people talking about defund the police, and they talking about, oh, ISIS, all this. Man, bro, in our communities, you have terror cells operating. Point blank, period. 40,000 Chinese nationals crossed the border. Then what do they find? They find a sim farm in New York where they had the infrastructure to take out 200 million phone lines. That's what's going on. Our national security has been...
Under a Republican, the media would be calling it treason for the next 20 years. But because it's Tim Walz, suddenly everybody develops amnesia. The fact that Democrats really wanted Tim Walz anywhere near the White House, when he couldn't even keep the money of Minnesota taxpayers out of the hands of terrorist organizations. You genuinely cannot make this up, people. A whole federal probe just launched because under Walz and under the Biden leadership, fraud rings in Minnesota were siphoning millions from Minnesota taxpayers. And the money was being sent straight overseas into terrorist organizations. So explain to me, how do I need a credit check to finance a fucking Kia? But Tim Walz, he accidentally bankrolls extremists, and he still gets treated like a serious candidate. The bar is so low for Democrats at this point, it's basically underground. I hope every single person involved gets held accountable to the fullest extent. And yes, I fully agree with President Trump. Deport them all immediately. The fact that Minnesota taxpayers may have funded terrorist organizations under Tim Walz, that's not just mismanagement, people. That is national security malpractice at its finest.
All right. Now, Chris, where do you want to go?
Well, there's so many places to go, but
yes,
it starts with the first gentleman. And he's absolutely right. Deport them all, every single one of them, because we have a whole segment of the population in America that is not American citizens. They never will be American citizens, and they're balkanizing the country. They don't assimilate. They don't learn the language. They don't adopt our culture. And that is a recipe for disaster. And in the midst of that, the last two clips that you played are absolutely true. Remember, we had Tom Homan tell us that there were over 1 million identified national security threats that were led in by the Biden administration. Those are the ones they know about. They know of 1 million national security threats. Those are 1 million terrorists in our borders. The 40,000, it's over 100,000 Somalis that have emigrated to Minnesota, Minneapolis, 100,000. And they managed to perpetrate $1 billion in fraud. That doesn't include the 1.7 billion of personal money, which most of it was probably fraudulent anyway, but that they remitted to Somalia themselves. So you're talking about close to $3 billion that have been sent to El-Shabaab or its functionaries in Somalia. It's absolutely egregious. And this did not happen by accident. This part that I'm trying to help people understand. This is not, it's not an oops. It's not incompetence. It's it's not simply malpractice. It is malfeasance at the highest level. Tim Walz wanted this to happen. In fact, prosecuted the whistleblowers. He went after them. As soon as they blew the whistle, he completely ignored the fraud and went after the whistleblowers. It's the same thing the Biden administration did. It wasn't an oops. They flew in 300,000 people a year from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, Honduras, and other places. They were known terrorists. They were known criminals. They were known mental asylum patients. They flew them directly into the country. No vetting, no nothing. They were brought here specifically as an army. Now you get to the Afghanistan problem. The person who shot the National Guard, he was here because of the Afghan collapse, which, make no mistake, again, was not an oops. It wasn't, oh my gosh, we just don't know what we're doing. No, that was the plan from the get-go. Ask yourself two questions. How does the United States give $80 billion to a known terrorist organization and completely bypass Congress where they would have to vote on it? because you're not going to get the moderate Democrats to vote. Let's give $80 billion of military equipment to our enemies in the Taliban. No. That plan was twofold. One, we want to give $80 billion to our enemies, and we don't want Congress to have any say about it. And two, we want to create chaos so that we can bring in tens of thousands of unvetted migrants into our country. That's because for the longest time, our elected leaders, or a large percentage of them, have not been answering to the American public. They answer the globalist cabal of corruptocrats that want to do the same thing to America they are actively doing to Europe. When you look at the United Kingdom, when you look at France, when you look at Germany, their countries are all but lost. They will not address the elephant in the room, which is rampant, unchecked, unassimilated migration. And let's even narrow it down a little bit more. The most dangerous aspect of that unchecked, unassimilated migration is Muslims, because Islam at its heart is incompatible with the Constitution of the United States. Now, if you take pre-Medina Muslims who have not adopted it as a political ideology, could they coexist in the United States? Sure, because they ignore essentially the post-Medina part of the Quran, which says kill all the unbelievers, which talks about taqiyya, which talks about lying, that it's okay as long as you advance Islam. But Islam, when you read the book and you apply it, is incompatible with the Constitution. And that's why we're seeing the problems that we see now. But this is not a mistake. It's not an oops. It's not a how did we find ourselves here? This has been a systematic approach for the last 40 years. And that's why I think we need to end all immigration, legal, illegal, otherwise, until we assimilate the legal immigrants that we have here now. And if that takes 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't care. Deport everybody else en masse. That means we need to have probably 30 or 40 million deportations, because the numbers now say that there are 50 million foreign nationals living in America. And I'll bet 30 million of them are illegal and they need to go away 100%. And then we need to end all government subsidies for anybody who is not a US citizen. I'd prefer end them altogether. If we're going to have immigration at all, then get rid of all federal welfare programs of any kind. But barring that, which will never pass, we at least need to say, if you are not a US citizen, you don't get one thin red dime. And until we are willing to take on those challenges, we are going to continue to fight a fight for our existential survival.
No argument for me on that, Chris. I actually heard that the number of just immigrants, illegal and legal, in our country right now is upwards of 100 million. That's just off some research that I have done over the past couple of days. They're saying that there were roughly, anywhere between 20 and 40 million illegals that came over just over the previous administration. We're not counting those that have already been here. And then you add the actual legal immigrants. They're saying that probably almost 1/3 of our population are either immigrant or illegal immigrant,
and
which is a fundamental.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. I mean, they've literally come in and fundamentally changed the demographic of the nation. And they've probably done it within the last 30 years or so, under the nose of the American people. And most Americans, we have our heads in the sand, and they have no idea that this has even happened. Celeste, I want to give you the next word on this. What are your thoughts? Oh, sorry, I think you're muted. I got you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. In Ann Coulter's book, Adios America, she talked about how in poll after poll, survey after survey, since at least around the 1980s, Americans have requested 500,000 a year in immigration. They wanted no more than 500,000 a year. Americans believe that 500,000 a year, provided that they come under the criteria that Crystal talked about. You have a sponsor, you have a job, you have a place to live, you have a network and a community that you can assimilate to, that we could easily absorb that amount. What Chris is discussing is not unprecedented. We have never had free-flowing immigration until fairly recently. We used to close immigration, and for 20 years at a time, we did not allow large-scale numbers of people unless they were seriously seeking asylum from violence and from war-torn places, not this economic immigration that we're doing now. We just want to come here because you got more money and a better lifestyle. That's very different than I'm about to get my head chopped off. I need a place to go. But we closed our immigration until we needed a population of people for a specific industry or for workers. It was merit-based, and we thought of immigration as something that would be a utility for the American people. We did not think of the American people, immigration for the American people, to be a utility to the rest of the world. That is not our responsibility. That is not what we have been intended for. It is inappropriate. And the truth is, for 40 years, the American people have been begging their leaders to say, we don't want this. What is being exposed right now is the fact that our leaders in Congress and in the presidencies have known this and have told the American people to kick rocks with no socks. They do not care, because they have their own immigration agendas, and the people who fund their campaigns have their immigration agendas. So they are uninterested in our quality of life being diminished by this unfettered immigration. And to Minister Danzel's point about Christians, here is the truth for Christians. God equally loves all of the people that he created. And Christians have the responsibility to acknowledge that God equally loves all the people that he created. But God is not asking us to be reckless and to be foolish and to put ourselves in harm's way. I don't believe that is something that Christians should be undertaking. God forbid anybody and pastors and ministers be shepherding this idea, because asking us to roll over and put ourselves into harm's way and to be foolish is not an idea of Christianity. In fact, it is an idea of one world government, because that's who that serves. Absolutely. Not God, them.
Absolutely. Outstanding. AT, I'll give you the last word on this.
I appreciate it. I was listening to, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what Chris said, because it's such an important point that a lot of individuals, especially on the left and even on the right, don't know or don't accept. One, from Psalms, the wicked go down onto the realm of the dead. All the nations that forgot God. The United States of America is a Christian nation. I know that somebody heard that and wants to throw up in their mouth. I don't care if you like it or not. It's very easy to have that conversation. You look at our founding documents. When you say that we're the United States of America, so you got to look at the initial state documents as well. A lot of our laws are based off of biblical principles. And what we have right now, Charlie Kirk said this best. We have a group of individuals in the United States that are a really large group. We're talking about the liberals, those who are down with immigration, who don't really understand the implications of it, who have gone away from Christian values and yet are still governed by Christian laws. And we see that incompatibility every single day, especially when it comes to this topic. Now, understand, I love helping others. It's our responsibility to do so, but you can't fill someone else's cup when your cup is cracked and currently leaking. And that's the way our nation looks. I love Chris's idea. I was thinking about this a while back. Grandfather and the people who are here, close the doors and fix the problems we have before we start trying to help everybody else. But going all the way back to the first gentleman, first of all, cursing doesn't make you cool. The danger is not going to resonate with individuals who are liberal, who live in these big cities. Veterans on the streets is not going to resonate with individuals who live in these cities who are on the left. It resonates, to his point, with those who work. It resonates with those who have served. And most people on the left have not served. Most people on the left have not done any kind of manual labor job that requires more than just talking nicely to get into the door. And so while we see the problem that we have here in front of us when it comes to immigration, while we see the threat, I don't expect them to know that threat, because they cannot go beyond the city borders. They can't go beyond what media is telling them. So how do we get to a point where we have individuals who, I apologize, Waz, when we have individuals who are seeing the problem, they're supporting the problem, because if AT did it, it was treason. If Chris comes up to AT and I say, hey, Chris, here's a whole bunch of money. I know that Chris is going, he never would, by the way, that Chris is going to take this money and go buy a whole bunch of missiles that he's going to utilize to harm United States American citizens. And if they can prove that, AT is going to jail for treason, is probably going to lose his life. Why do we not hold the same standard to the individuals that are in elected office? I think we've gotten too soft on the people that we look at on the media every single day. They should be held to a higher standard than everybody else, at least the same standard. And I don't see either of those things actually happening.
Would agree. A couple super chats I want to read real quick and we'll keep it moving. Shout out to Rolando coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, hey, I got those taco t-shirts for everyone. Minister, I got one for you too. Extra medium.
Extra medium.
Hey, Minister, don't fall into that. You don't want one of those t-shirts.
Minister, do not get one of those t-shirts, okay? Do not try to corrupt my Minister Denzel, okay? Don't do it. We're not doing that.
Just for those that missed the show on Wednesday night, Rolando, come on, Rolando. He's got to come through. He got these t-shirts that he made. Tacos and fornication. That's why I said you do not want one of these t-shirts, Minister Dancel.
Do you see AT's face?
Is this Crystal's Rolando we're talking
There's
about?
no Crystal's Rolando. I will take you, AT. I will make a personal trip to fight you. Okay?
Thank y'all for looking out for me. I appreciate that.
AT, yes, that is Crystal's Rolando. That is
why? Really? Why? Both y'all gonna be at the list. Keep it up.
Take it to the Lord in prayer, Chris. You're gonna take care of it in prayer.
That's right.
That part.
Shout out to Kenny Cooper coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, I will use those words. I'm ridiculously blessed in this ridiculously cold 19-degree weather. Hello to and Young Wise. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, Kenny. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. You have my permission. You have my permission. I told you I already stole it, so I've claimed it. It's mine now.
I see that.
Shout out to Aaron Purdue coming through with the $50 super chat. Thank you very much. Off topic, but Mike Franzese did three videos on the rumor hit out on Candace Owens. One good thing about Italian mafia in 1948, it was them that smuggled most of the Israeli weapons to them. Because of Meyer Lansky, the mafia are Zionists. They're mad. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Thank you very much. Shout out to Dead Red Society coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, glad Trump is addressing Somali fraud. The Bantu came here assimilated, but newer nomadic clans are bullying them again. We let in the victims and the people they fled. Biden messed this up. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Biden definitely played a role in this, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Barack Obama that pushed a lot of them into would he send 70, 80,000 Somalians out to Minneapolis? I believe that was under the Obama administration.
It was under Bush and Obama. It was under both of them.
Both of them. Shout out to Jonathan coming through with the $99 or $100 super chat. 100% agreed. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. Let's keep it moving. I know Chris is on a time crunch, so we want to make sure that we can get in as much as we can. You guys seen the thumbnail, seen the title. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Crystal Ball, but former MSDNC host Crystal Ball says she can't understand. She can't grasp the concept of minorities joining ICE or being a part of ICE. I want to play a couple clips for you guys. And Chris, we'll give you the first word on this.
All right.
Give me 1 second here.
At it with are minorities in ICE.
I mean, that connects to this, right?
Yeah.
Like, not only do you have no moral compass, and how many times have you seen these guys? They've got their masks on, so you can't see their whole face. But what you can see, it's like a brown skin tone and a dude who looks like his last name is probably like Lopez or Hernandez or something. It's like, what is wrong with you? Not only do you not have morality, apparently you don't have self-preservation. I mean, these people hate you. They hate you. They hate your family. They hate your kids. They hate your future grandkids. They don't think you belong here. You're not a quote unquote heritage American. You're never going to belong. And you're the one implementing the violent force against your own community. I just can't wrap my head around that.
Me angry, annoyed, because one of the things that I've really realized going through, white liberals really make me angry, annoyed, because one of the things that I've really realized going through this journey of looking into politics, looking into the dynamics between the left and the right, white people will, and they're not going to explicitly say this, you got to kind of pick up on it. White people will tolerate a lot of these conditions, a lot of these policies that negatively affect them as kind of a virtue signaling, and virtue signaling in a couple ways, right? The first virtue signaling is that I'm so hip with the times, I'm so compassionate to homeless people, I'm so compassionate to minorities that I'm willing to tolerate the objective ineffectiveness of this specific policy just to look as though I'm actually helping people. The second one, and the kind of insidious one, is like, I don't care if I'm being taxed more because I'm doing so well that although this objectively will make me pay more in taxes, will end up making my life so difficult, I'm doing so well economically that I'm able to tolerate this. So it's like a double virtue signal, and it is really annoying because it just hurts everybody other than you, which you have kind of, you're kind of insulated from reality.
Chris, let me give you the first word.
Well, I mean, on the first clip, you've got Botox Rogan. At least that's what the libs that's what the Democrats are trying to prop her up as the next Joe Rogan. Jennifer Welch is an entirely disgusting, morally depraved witch. I mean, if you've listened to any of her clips, she is racist. She is repulsive. And I don't know who the woman she was interviewing with, but it's very easy to understand why black and brown skin, why we even care what skin color they have is just beyond me anyway. But why black and brown skin Americans would be part of ICE, because they are the operative word Americans, and they love America. And they realize that unchecked, unfettered migration into America is destroying our country. And just like, I mean, you may be able to guess it, but I'm fully one half Danish. My grandfather came over from Denmark on a boat when he was 17 with a few bucks in his pocket. And when I say a few, like, $3 or $4, that's all he had. He sold everything, got on a boat and came over. He met my grandmother, who was born to 2 Danish immigrants in Denver. So my mom is 100% Danish. There is not a lick of Danish spoken in our house. There was not a lick of Danish spoken in her house. My grandfather, when my parent, when my mother was born and her siblings, he specifically told them, we will not learn Danish. We are Americans. We have left that culture behind. We have left that language behind. I mean, my mom still makes Danish recipes and Danish food and stuff like that. Well, she doesn't anymore because she's dead, but she did for the longest time. But we did not speak Danish. We did not celebrate Denmark. We were Americans. And my grandfather made sure of that. And so these same people who are now working for ICE realize the national security threat, the crime threat, the moral problem that exists when you have unchecked, unfettered immigration. And so they're willing to put on the uniform and go to work to get these people out of the United States. Because if we don't, we've lost our country. And so it's very easy to understand why they would. The question is, how can you not understand why they wouldn't? And why do you want this to happen? Because she's part of this liberal, elitist intelligentsia. They think they're intelligent, that actually hate America. Again, this goes back to, there's this, it doesn't have, no one's wearing a name tag. It's this globalist cabal of corruptocrats that want nothing more than to destroy the West, because they realize if they destroy the West and they usher in their new brand of modern day aristocracy, they can they get to set themselves up as the elite, as the new aristocracy. Just like in England, you were born into wealth, power, and privilege. Didn't matter how stupid you were, didn't matter how immoral you were born into that, and based on your blood, you were wealthy and other people weren't. And that's what they want. That's what they've been working for the last 60 years. And it's gross. And so, the fact that she's on Jennifer Welch's show, Jennifer Welch, I mean, free speech absolutist. She's allowed to say what she's allowed to say, but she should be run out of town on a rail. She is so absolutely deplorable.
No argument for me on that. I'm not a Jennifer Welch fan. We've highlighted her on this channel a couple of times. AT, I'll give you the next word on this.
Yeah, Jennifer Welch is great, isn't she? Let's see. Charlie Kirk is a racist for mentioning a black pilot. Trump is a racist for all the things that he says. But I don't know if anyone else caught this. I had to put this in quotes. A brown dude who looks like his last name is Lopez or Mendez or something like that. Let's just flip that around if you don't mind. I'm going to pick on the, I'm going to say Dutch individual. Excuse me. You just told me Danish individual here. I'm not going to just say white because that's incredibly disrespectful of where he comes from. And I'm going to say Chris comes up to me. He's like, you know what? I think your actual name, AT, is DeMarcus or Marquise. You look like one of those two. They're going to say that he is racist. Rules for thee, but not for me. And it's so hard to take people seriously when she says this. If anybody else on the right, if Trump would have said this, let's just try it on real quick. A brown dude who looks like his nasty, I don't know, Lopez or Mendez or something, CNN would have it on the front page the very next day if you said
the same day.
Like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's trending by the time we go to bed tonight. And that's the part that upsets me the most. It's the selective outrage. So if you're on the left, you can say whatever it is that you want to say. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. It can obviously be racism. I'd love for someone to find me and explain to me how that line from whoever it was on the right was not to be considered racist, yet you want us to take you seriously. And she said also, this is an important aspect. This is how white liberals view you. If you're someone who's Hispanic who's watching this, this is how they view you. Harming your own community. So she believes that the entire community of Hispanic individuals in the United States of America are illegal immigrants. That's what she's saying, right? She's saying that's their community. And it's so unfortunate we can't look at that. We can't analyze that for what it is. I can say whatever I want to. I could do whatever I want to, apparently. And my money can go wherever it is I want it to go. I can see the country collapse. As long as I'm still repping that blue, that left side, right? The donkey is still my symbol over the lamb, then I could do whatever I want to and get away with it. It's the hypocrisy, honestly, wise, that gets on my last nerves.
Oh, well, I agree with you there.
Let me jump right in there because you're absolutely right. And realize that they elevate their community. Their communities were Americans. Their communities were Hispanics, were Muslims, were Somalis, were something else. And it reminds me of just how prescient Malcolm X was. When Malcolm X said the most dangerous person in the world is the white liberal.
Mm-hmm.
And he was absolutely right.
Yeah, he was right then. I think he is still right now. I mean, people say he was a truth teller, but he might be, I don't know, was he telling the future or something? Was he, forecasting the future? Sheesh. Get in there, Minister Denzel.
No, they don't change. He knew what he said then. It was true then. It was true now. They don't change. Their tactics don't change. Their ideology don't change. Their way of thinking doesn't change. What's sad is that they do that because they know that there are a lot of people out there that'll fall for that kind of language. That's the big problem, is that they can talk that stupid stuff and people actually swallow it up. And what hurts me is that not just the uneducated people accept it, but there are some intelligent people that accept it. And that's what bothers me. You have people who have very good sense on other matters, but when it comes to the race thing, they fall for this this kind of talk. And I think that it's important that we as thinkers, we as biblical Christians, we have to always respond to it in a way that, again, makes them look stupid the way they are, make them look stupid like they are. Her language to ask is, how could a person of color join ICE? Yeah, because we love our nation. We love our country. If you aren't willing to defend your nation, then you don't love your nation. And I thank you, Brother Wise, for playing those clips, because this is what's being promoted on left media on a daily basis. Everything in news, in media, is spun in a way that makes Trump look crazy, hateful, racist, makes anyone who supports him look crazy and racist. And it is our responsibility and our job to counter that with facts and with truth. This is where we're living at right now. Our nation is divided because of the left's method of trying to divide us by propping up false philosophy, false ideas, disrespecting America, disrespecting our Constitution, and claiming to be the ones that's defending democracy.
Absolutely. What's really crazy about that is that these are the same people that will say, blanket, a blanket statement of, hey, if you're a Republican, you are racist. If you believe in, sovereign borders, if you believe in putting our own citizens first, that would be considered racism in the eyes of a lot of these liberals out there. I was watching the Stephen A. show, clip from Stephen A. show the other day, and he had a call in. Stephen A. starting to do call-ins, guys. He had somebody call in and say, blanket, full stop, if you're a Republican, you're racist, regardless of who you are. And that's the ideology, that's the mindset that you hear, from those people on the other side of things. And honestly, it's not just white liberals. I think it's just liberals in general, whether you're, white, Asian, Hispanic, doesn't matter. They all have this same mindset. Celeste, I'll give you the next word. Oh, you're muted again. Got you.
I'm not sure how that keeps happening. All right, let me move my mouse. The white liberal must be taken to task for the actions of the past and the actions of today. Because if we look back at their history, and we have got to follow their history, we find that they have been the most dangerous and disastrous force in the life of Black people and in other minorities. Slavery, those were the people that were upholding slavery, white liberals who vote Democrat. Jim Crow was initiated and maintained by white liberals who vote Democrat. Abortion disproportionately affects Black people in terms of killing Black babies, and also what I think is possibly even a bigger impact, which has stymied the growth of the Black population since 1973. White liberals who vote Democrat are responsible for that. Sexual restraint, which would help stop the breakdown of the family and bring families and communities back into compliance and into order under some values that we all can understand. White liberals who vote Democrat are responsible for that. So in the past and today, when we look at the things that ail the Black community, when we look at the things that Black people are struggling with and which hampers our ability to live as effectively and as fully as we want to, who do we see right there? It is the white liberal. And I have to say this, and among the white liberal, the absolute worst is the women. The women have an absolutely corrosive attitude towards this country. I think they are dealing with the fact that the promise of their feminism failed. What they hoped to get out of feminism was that they were going to feel as good about themselves as they imagined the white man felt about himself. And now they have kicked open all the doors, and they sit at all the tables, and they occupy all the seats, and they still feel as bad about being a woman as they did pre-feminism, and they're mad. And because they're mad, they have a burn it all down, corrosive attitude towards this country, and they maintain their racist opinion and hatred that they've had on Blacks and other minorities that they have in the past and still possess today. These people must be exposed, and they must be taken to task.
Crystal, a lot to follow.
No pressure.
I know, and you put me behind Celeste, so now I got to think extra.
How do you think I felt before that? You can't go after Celeste.
All I will say is, I don't have to have much to say. All I will say is, Jennifer Welch is clearly a Jezebel, and so is the lady sitting next to her. You see, these women, they come in and they look like they're trying they're here to support you. Now, I want people to understand, when I was on the left, I didn't understand how racist liberals were until I walked into common sense. When you get into common sense, when the veil is removed, then you can see the truth. Because so many different ways, especially white liberal women, I will say, well, I don't think I'm oppressed. No, let me tell you, you are oppressed, and let me explain to you why you're oppressed. And I'm like, but I don't feel like I'm a slave. No, but you are. You just don't understand, because you're from the ghetto, but I'm not from the ghetto. Like, they try to ghetto-splain, black-splain you. They try to tell you who or what you are, and I'm like, I'm confused. I've listened to these people sit here and say that people, minorities that are working for ICE, that there's some kind of crime in that. Why? There's a problem with that. Why? The difference between us, those that are on this side and those over there, we don't look at ourselves as Black Americans, white Americans, Hispanic Americans. We look at ourselves as Americans. This is our country. This is our home. And I need people to get out of that mindset. This is how they continue to oppress those on the left. And the left will tell you all day long that, no, you over there with the massa. Right now in my TikTok stream, I have one weirdo over here to keep telling me that I'm on the plantation. No, bro, you on the plantation because you're with the people who continue to tell you to look to them, depend on them. You can't stand on your own 2 feet. God is not your source. We are your source. They're convincing you of that, and you actually believe the foolishness. Instead of you coming out from among them and seeing the truth, you'd rather listen to them. So they will continue to keep you on that plantation because how are you going to eat? They'll take away your food stamps if you don't listen to them. They will take away your Section 8 if you don't listen to them, if you don't come into alignment with them. To me, that is being on a plantation. To me, that is being a slave to the system. Because again, you said all the time, Mars, those who feed you, those who house you, those who clothe you, they control you. You don't control yourself.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent. Wise, before you go on to the next point, can I just say that stupid is stupid no matter how you dress it up. You put lipstick on a pig is still a pig. You know, it doesn't become Miss Universe because you put lipstick on it. And
you sure about that, Minister?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. These bad ideas, they're always going to be bad ideas, no matter how they dress it up, no matter how they claim that it's a part of democracy and it's a part of compassion. It's still stupid and it's still wrong. And as we promote this idea that no matter what you say, if it's stupid, it's stupid, it makes them look stupider. And that's why they need their echo chambers. They need those programs, their programs they can go on like The View, and they can just spout it with very little pushback. Every now and then they get the wrong person on there and they get the wrong kind of pushback that just exposes them. But I want us to be encouraged. Please don't get discouraged by the crazy out there. Just keep speaking truth.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to add anything before we move to the next?
Yeah, I just want to add, if you don't mind, Wise, it's really important that if you're someone who hears this and gets upset about it, you have to really take a step back and analyze this from a non-biased lens. And maybe it does help to say it a different way. I'm sorry, Wise, don't get mad at me. I got to promote what Celeste is saying here. I really do, because even in her book, the way she writes that, some people have to view it that way. Let me view it in a way that, let me just say what I'm doing with my life, that tongue-in-cheek style that she has. You got to read it. I'm gonna tell everybody right here, you got to read it. It will make you dangerous when it comes to what's going on in this nation, when it comes to poverty and wealth. It is not difficult to read. So if you're someone who doesn't read books and it's been a long time for you, it's not difficult to read. I'm telling you the truth, right? You can pick it up, you can go through it. And it really makes you think, because people need to think about this conversation. Just like what we said with the individual on the right in her comments, what we say about what's happening in the country to individuals, some people can't see that. They only expose themselves to mainstream media, TikTok, X, or whatever, I don't know, face space in my book or whatever is popular nowadays. And they're uncomfortable to look outside of their own mentality and understanding. Perhaps you have to twist it a different way. I love the entire soliloquy you had on this one, Celeste. I really do. We have to know that white liberals are not your friend. And yes, for anyone who is saying, are you saying that all liberals are racist? No, of course I'm not saying that, but you certainly support it. Go look at the DNC's agenda. Go look at what it is that they're promoting. When you say this color, Black people typically, or Hispanic when it comes to ICE, this color needs special treatment. We should ignore wrong that is happening. We should ignore people taking advantage of the system because of generational trauma and because things that happened over 100 years ago. You are fueling the steam engine of racism.
If you read Celeste's book, please go on Amazon and do a review for her. And let's big it up.
Thank you all. Oh my God, thank you.
That is awesome, man. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. Y'all are blessing Celeste this morning. Look at that.
You blessed us with that book. I'll tell you the truth. I read seminary books all day, and that was a breath of fresh air. It really was.
What'd you like most about it, AT?
What I like most about it, I don't often say this about a book. I usually wait till I read the entire thing to say that it was something that was gripping. She gives you no heads up, by the way. Besides on the front of the cover where it says a tongue-in-cheek guide, she gives you no heads up. And so I started reading this, and she goes into, this is how, I don't want to ruin it. I'm not going to ruin it. But the way she opens, I was like, oh, is Celeste crazy? Why is she doing? And it took me a second to really pick up what she was doing. It is engaging. That's what I like about it. It gives great information, of course, but an encyclopedia does that, and it's not exactly a page turner. This is truthfully engaging because it's relevant. It's something anybody, whether you're from the rural area, the city, or in between, can resonate with, because it has to do with just regular, typical American life. And to me, it's absolutely hilarious. It truthfully is. It's a page turner to me because I just want to know what the next pillar is going to be.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Boom. There we go. I wanted to make sure I got that up there. And we might have to clip that. You might need to use that, Celeste. That's awesome, man.
That is
awesome.
Yeah, that was excellent. And you're right. There is no heads up. It's just boom from the first word, and you have to see if you get it. And I'm glad to know that you got it, AT. Thank you so much.
Hey, why you didn't ask me what I like most about the book.
Go for it.
What I liked most about the book is that it approached madness in a way that helped the mad person learn without going crazier. It snuck up on them. It made them face their stupidity without telling them they're stupid. It made them face their actions and the way they see things and the way they do things. And they don't even realize they're being taught. They're being reminded of what they're doing, and it's easy for them to accept it. But then, in addition to that, she shows where it leads to. And so by the time they realize what's happened, they're being cured.
That's right. Minister Danzel's right. She does not insult the reader at all. No insult to the reader, but at some point you're going to sit down and read and be like, wait a minute. Right. And they just kind of roll with it. You'll see. Y'all have to check the book out.
Yeah, go check it out. Go check it out. Go pick up the book. All righty. Couple super chats to read and we'll keep it moving. Shout out to is it Nazir? Hopefully I pronounced that properly. With the $5 super chat, says like the video, y'all. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Shout out to Steven coming through with the $5 super chat, says 15 years ago I met a Somali trucker in St. Paul who had 48 children with 5 wives. He told me his people are going to take over. His words, not mine. Sheesh. 48 children, 5 wives. Whoa.
48 children's a blessing. I was going to say that, right? It's a beautiful number. It's the 5 wives part that I can't get behind. 48 kids, though, I'm about that.
Goodness gracious. Thank you, Cameron Hall, for coming through with the $5 super chat. Says it's amazing to me how white liberals dirt the Fed of white privilege more than anyone they accuse of it. I'm not sure if I got that. Can anybody clarify that one for me?
I'm trying. I've got nothing for you.
But we're grateful for the super chat.
Absolutely.
Extremely grateful for the super chat. Shout out to 2020 Vision coming through with the $10 super chat. Says the nerve of them to say we are on the plantation when the people they align with are literally responsible for actual slavery, Jim Crow, Black nucleus breakdown. Like, be for real. Yeah, man. Hey, I've had a multitude of conversations, and when you tell people and you kind of start to run down that list of who the party that they actually are willing to fight for, willing to disown their family for, when they find out who they are, they're sitting there looking at me like, that can't be true. That's impossible. The party switched. That's actually they believe all of this stuff, bro.
They do.
They believe the lies, man. Sheesh. Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you, 2020 Vision, for coming through with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much, man. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving here. I want to talk a little more about illegal immigrants. And I want you guys to hear from the director of HUD. I want you guys to hear. There's a couple of clips I want to play, and then we'll get into it. I don't want to spend too much time here, but I wanted to play these clips and address this. Give me a second.
illegal immigrants have put a strain on the housing market. What can you tell us? You signed a memorandum with the DHS to end wasteful misappropriation of taxpayer money.
Absolutely.
For, quote, illegal alien exploitation of housing programs. You're also working with the Federal Housing Administration to crack down on government-backed mortgages for illegals. How do they get a mortgage if you're actually illegal in the country?
Well, Marie, during the Biden administration, there were over 12 million illegal aliens that came over the border, straining our housing supply and making the costs go up. And so we work with Secretary Noem at DHS, as you alluded to make sure that only American citizens are living in HUD-funded housing. We also took away FHA-backed mortgages from illegal aliens during the Biden administration. They turned a blind eye. But we're going to keep the law to make sure that these mortgages, which are backed by the taxpayer, go only to the American people. And lastly, we are mandating that every public housing authority give us a comprehensive account who's living in every unit in taxpayer HUD-funded housing.
Wow. Actually, Davis, another impact of that wide open border.
The charts that you had up a minute ago, which was phenomenal, showing who's getting entitlement benefits. Check this out. This is family receiving welfare. So purple is illegal headed households. Red is legal immigrants. Blue is U.S. born headed households.
The people we want to give the welfare to.
People you
citizens.
want to give it to. And when you look at this, cash, go with a food. Look at what food looks like. Illegal, 48%. Legal, 38%. That becomes what? That's 82%. Whatever that number is, a massive percentage of it is those two. Then you have the Americans. People see numbers like this. They're like, what am I doing with my taxpayer? Why am I paying taxes? To support who?
Chris, I'll give you the first word, man. Sheesh.
Which is why we have to. I mean, I've never been in favor of nuking the filibuster, but knowing that we have basically a year to make some serious changes in this country, or we're going to keep going down the same road. We're going to keep trying the same things, hoping for different results. We won't. That's the definition of insanity. In this case, it's the definition of a bunch of globally funded terrorists who are trying to destroy our country. Government subsidies of any kind, whether they are federally backed mortgages, whether it's HUD housing, whether it's food stamps, any government assistance whatsoever needs to be limited to only American citizens. If you are here illegally, frankly, you should be stuck in nothing more than a shadow economy. You have no rights. You should not be able to get a job. Your kids shouldn't be able to go to school. If you are here illegally, you should be given every opportunity and incentive to go home. If you are here legally, then you can participate. Your kids can go to school. That's all fine and good, but you should not get one thin red dime of American taxpayer assistance. You are here legally, then you are a guest in this country. You are here ostensibly because you want to be an American citizen. You're on your probationary period. You're here because you have a skill. You have something else that we have allowed you into the country for. But government funded anything should only be for American citizens. You cannot vote to give money to other people that don't even belong in this country. It's absolutely egregious. And it's what we've been doing for, almost darn near 100 years now. It's certainly the post-liberal, World War II liberal order has restructured society such that America became evil, and we were supposed to somehow support the rest of the world, whether it was sending money outside of our borders or bringing in everybody into our country and then supporting them. When we had mass migration in the early 1900s and the late 1800s, realized that there was no social safety net. It was, hey, if you want to come to America, you're welcome. You still got to go through Ellis Island. You got to make sure you got no diseases. You got all this other stuff. But hey, you're welcome to try to build a life in America. There is no government assistance. So go forge it yourself. And that was fine. But now that we have a welfare state, we cannot allow immigrants to get one thin red dime of American taxpayer money. Otherwise, we just continue down the same road that we're going. We will bankrupt our country. We're $37 trillion in debt. We have to fix our own house before we try to fix somebody else's. And it's become a serious, serious problem to the point that, if we ever are taken away as the reserve currency, if there are no more petrodollars, our country is in serious economic trouble.
Absolutely. That would, if that was to happen, Chris, that would pretty much be the downfall of America, which also goes back to the might of our military and how important it is, because that's what maintains, our way of life. I don't think people understand how we actually maintain our way of life and why our dollar, is worth what it is right now. Because if that ever changes, and if our military ever becomes a shell of itself, we're in trouble. We are in trouble in this country. And all these people out here, a lot of these bleeding heart liberals who hate the military and they hate those who serve. Without having the strongest military in the world, we wouldn't be able to maintain the life that we maintain here in this country. I don't think people understand it. And the thing is this: no other nation offers non-citizens the type of welfare and benefits that we offer non-citizens. No other nation does this. Matter of fact, if you want to move to another country and obtain some form of actual, visa to stay there long term, you have to show how you're going to take care of yourself. You're not going to move to another country and then be on the government dole. They're not going to allow it. And if you ever find yourself in that position, they're probably going to boot you up out of there. A lot of the countries out in Europe, even though they do offer these social services, a lot of them, they do require that you are at least have been in the country or some form of naturalized citizen there for 5 years or more. Most countries have nothing for you because they don't have anything for their own citizens.
Wise, the only exception to that is in Europe in the last 15 years, ever since the Syria debacle, they have offered government assistance to all of the Middle Eastern migrants that have flooded Europe. That's why you see the problems you've got in Germany, in Sweden, in France, because they are on the government dole and they showed up yesterday. And that's why, you've got UK, British citizens in the UK literally on the doorstep of civil war over what's going on in their country, because that is the only group of people, like you said, everywhere else in the world, you show up in a country, you're not getting anything. We're not helping you, except for that group of people in Europe. And we can see the toll that it has taken on Europe in the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
Europe is almost unrecognizable. I mean, I was in Paris for for a honeymoon many years ago. And I was there on a business trip 2 years ago, and I rode around some of the places that I visited when I was there on my honeymoon, and they are unrecognizable. They're virtual slums now, with people literally hundreds of people just milling around on the street in a residential neighborhood. It's weird. It's absolutely crazy.
Crystal, I'll give you the next word.
I'm sorry, I'm over here going off on everybody. Okay, I'm just going off on everybody because I have people over in TikTok telling me that Trump is going to deport me back to. I'm like, we're in New York City. That's where he's going to deport me back to New York City because but my people in the comments said that they will sponsor me back here to Atlanta, Georgia. And then I have other people over here in the comments telling me that my president is racist because he said that the people that are up there in Minneapolis who are defrauding the system and sending that money to radicalists in a whole nother country, that they're not trash. I'd be the trash. Make that make sense. I'm not even on government assistance. The Lord is my source. You see how that works? And so that's why I said what I said before. When my grandparents came to America, you had to prove that you can stand on your own 2 feet. You were not coming here to get government assistance. The fact that 48% of illegals are sitting here getting all of that assistance, and this is illegals. They are getting homes. Listen, I haven't even bought myself a home yet. I haven't even done the what do you call it, the FHA. I haven't even done it yet. And these people are sitting here in homes. Are you serious? But Americans are the problem. Americans who want benefits for Americans, the same Americans that put money into the tax system, our taxpayer dollars, we are the problem when we say this isn't right. We are the racists. We are hateful because we say that's not right. Listen, the Bible clearly says a man that does not work does not eat. Therefore, you cannot come in here and be eating up all of our government assistance that all of us actually have put into. We worked hard and we put that money into the system. Therefore, that money belongs to us. It does not belong to every and anybody that's out there. And I know people like to think that, but no. Yes, we are kind, but we are not nice. Because I'm like my father Jesus. I am kind, but I am not nice. I'm not going to sit down here and roll over while you step all over me. And no American should do that. And especially Christians. You know what the word says. Don't try to twist the word to make it sound good so you can fit in with the left. No, you know what the word says. We're sitting out here not being good stewards of what the Lord has blessed us with. We're not stewarding this properly. So then we are, what did we discuss? Was it yesterday, Wise, where or 2 days ago? You know, the days melt together. Someone said that the last time the budget was zero was like 1967.
Yeah, it was 1967. Yeah, the last time we had a zero where we didn't owe anything. Yeah.
So we over here struggling. We just giving out all of our stuff. We are going into debt. People are struggling, and you wonder why. But then you have smart people, and I use this for y'all, that want to sit down here and say, don't worry, in the midterms, we want a blue wave. No, we don't want a blue wave. We just got out of this foolishness, and we're not trying to get back in. And if I have to pick up Charlie Kirk's mantle and put on where I'm helping to knock on doors and do the phone calls and stuff like that, and sending out letters to tell people to go out and vote and make sure in the midterms you get up and vote. Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because that is what we have to do. I vote every time. I just voted recently for a local election. I'm voting every single time, and I'm going to encourage everybody to vote every single time, because what we're not going to do is go back into that foolishness. As Chris just said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. We're finally getting out of it, and y'all want to put us back in it? Absolutely not.
All right, Chris, I know you got to get up out of here, man. Appreciate you pulling up today, man. Go check out Chris over at Courageous Media. Like I said, Chris OG on the channel, man. Appreciate you pulling up today, man. Thank you, bro. Take care, man.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to Chris, man. Go check out Chris over at Courageous Media. Celeste, I'll give you the next word.
This is absolutely suicidal empathy, and it is the absolute example of problem, reaction, solution. So what happens is the Democrats create a problem by introducing regulations that make housing unaffordable to builders, because they hate the rich and they hate developers. So they regulate them to the point where developers can't develop, and then they socially engineer the money such that the regulations such that developers can only get enough money to invest small 1 and 2 bedroom apartments and houses. So they don't want big families. And you can look in these cities, mostly what you can find for rent or for buy in these cities is 1 and 2 bedroom houses. That is to socially engineer family size. So these people have created this problem. Then they frenzy up the media and get a term called the affordability crisis. And now they wash their hands, wipe away the dirt and say, we have an affordability crisis. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then they come, same people who created the so-called crisis, come back with the solution. We have to loot the taxpayer once again. You notice the solution is always the same. There's never another answer. We must loot the taxpayer once again, and so we can get government-funded mortgages to illegals. This is their solution to the affordability crisis. Americans are not getting assistance with mortgages in the same ways. And many Americans, through their job and other issues, can't afford them. And if you don't have a small family size or are a single person, it is extremely difficult to live in these larger cities because they're not building anything for a husband, a wife, and 3 kids. It is very difficult to find a way to live in these cities. And they have done this on purpose. They have perfectly executed a reaction solution, which was to get them exactly where they wanted anyways, to be able to loot the taxpayer, and by doing so impoverish the working person so that they can steal the money, and what they have left over from their theft and grift, they are using to empower the illegal to sow chaos and discord into the country.
Wow. Wow.
Get in there, Minister.
So
I'll
wonderful.
give you, I'll
Wow.
give you the
So
next.
let's
Yeah,
so let's
absolutely.
thank you. I was hoping that someone mentioned that this is a masterful grift, and they are making money. They're using this to make money. They've gotten a lot of money out of these criminal politicians. Have gotten a lot of money out of the crisis that they set up intentionally. It's easy for you to steal money when you create this crisis with all this stuff going on that people don't have to. They're not able to see what you're doing. I'm glad you said this is Celeste. Also, I want to be clear that Christians, and I'm talking to my brothers and sisters, because we're supposed to be the light of the world. We're supposed to be the ones that have the common sense in this and the right perspective on this thing. A lot of Christians are being duped by the suffering of the illegal immigrants, and they are focusing on that and saying that we have a responsibility to take care of them and to show them love. Nobody on this panel is saying that we are trying to dog these people. That is not our intention. We are discussing how the problem came about and why there is a problem, and how American citizens who should be receiving the benefit of our country are being abandoned in order for this grift to take place and to go on. We know that there's not much that can be done right now because these people are already in here. They've accomplished that part. And we're not trying to trash these people. There are some good people that are here, but they're illegal. And you cannot make a bad thing good. If they, no matter how kind they are, no matter how many kids they have, we understand that we have to be kind to. We have to find some way to take care of them while we're working on getting the ones that shouldn't be out. But the problem is that you cannot ignore the fact that American citizens are suffering as a result of this. They are being abandoned as a result of this. You can't focus on being kind to the immigrant, the illegal immigrant, and ignore being kind to the American citizen. You see, that's irrational. So again, I'm just begging those of you who are Christians out there who are using that argument, that you have to see the whole picture. We have to be responsible for what we're doing to our American citizens. And we have to understand that the people that are here legally are illegal, no matter how sweet, kind, and wonderful they look, no matter if they haven't committed a crime. What they've done by coming here illegally is commit a crime. And that cannot be ignored. And that crime that they have committed is causing American citizens to suffer. This is what the problem is. And you can't ignore that. We love them. We want to see we don't want them to be harmed. We're looking for ways to try to help support them and take care of them while they're here. No one's saying that should not happen. So don't use the argument that we don't care about these people who are not doing anything wrong. They are here illegally. That's a fact. And that illegal status is causing American citizens to suffer, and that's not cool.
And AT, I want to get you in there on the conversation. For those of you guys that say, "Oh, illegal immigrants aren't receiving these types of benefits. They're not, receiving home down payment assistance and things of that nature," it's false. You can go and look that up. You can go see. There's a multitude of clips and information out there from politicians and others that are saying that, hey, these people are giving money. Not to mention, Kamala Harris ran a lot of her campaign on the fact that she was going to give down payment assistance. If you guys recall, she ran her campaign on it. So, when people say, "Oh, these people aren't receiving these types of benefits," yes, they are. We just showed, Pat Bet-David and he went through. The majority of the people receiving assistance are illegal immigrants, and then the quote unquote legal immigrants, those that came here, American citizens, were least likely to receive those types of benefits. It's ridiculous. So all these people out here caping for folks that shouldn't be here, and they're buying homes, and someone like Crystal, who has been in this country, hasn't actually been able to do that. And so many others out there, you have young people that hadn't been able to do that yet, but yet someone that just got here within 3 to 4 years, they're already owning a home. That's a problem. And if you don't have a problem with it, you are hustling backwards. People got to understand that for a long time in this nation, the number one way that people would build wealth in this country is through purchasing that first home. That was really the first time that, people could accumulate, a large amount of wealth. And they've actually passed that on to illegal immigrants. And those people have actually bypassed people that have been here for a long time. And then we don't understand that, hey, they brought the replacements over here and they set them up to replace you. And their hopes is that these people become that voter bloc that they need in order to amass and maintain power in this country. And it just really upsets me that people do not understand the grift. They don't understand the game plan of the Democrat Party. It really drives me crazy.
Yeah,
and when
that's
I've had
criminal.
conversations, with folks out there, and with some family members, and my family members, these are, Black Americans, and I've had conversations with them. I'm like, do you guys not understand that they brought your replacement here? Your competition is here. And for all of y'all still thinking that, hey, it's white people or the white man that you really have to contend with, no, they brought people and then they put them in your community. Not only did they bring them over here, they put them in your community to displace you, to compete with you. And they're also competing for opportunities. And what people got to understand, one of my friends worked construction. He was like, dude, once one of these people get hired, they start bringing in all their folks. And if one of them make it to management, you can forget about it. You're never going to get an opportunity at that company. Never. I don't think people understand that, like, hey, they're here. They're coming here to replace you. And this guy right here who wrote this book here, Dr. Claude Anderson, he talked about this. I don't know if you guys can see this. He talked about this 30 years ago, and he's been preaching on it, and he's been talking about it. And for the life of me, you have people that still support the Democrat Party, Black folks, that is, still supporting the Democrat Party at a wave that makes absolutely no sense. When these people have told you and shown you that they don't have your best interests at heart. All of their policies have been meant to basically destabilize your community. And then on the top of that, they brought the people in to replace you. It's crazy. And then people are still caping for these folks. It makes absolutely no sense. AT, what are your thoughts, bro?
First of all, everyone who was wondering, that was Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. So far, Wise has been 10 out of 10 on the book recommendations. Until he messes up, I'm going to keep on checking those out. Wise, with your permission, I want to say something very controversial. It's gotten people taken down on social media platforms, so I hope this doesn't impact you. It is considered by some to be one of the most hateful things you can say, and so I apologize in advance. America is the greatest country in the world. There you go, right? It is the greatest country in the world when it comes to freedoms, to the things that you are able to do, the way you want to live your life without restriction, to be able to say whatever it is you want to say, and you're ruining it. You're absolutely ruining it in every single way, shape, or form with a lot of this liberal policies that are out there. Now, look, if you haven't lived anywhere outside the United States of America, I do not want to hear your opinion, especially if you haven't read against whatever your viewpoint is to ensure that you have absolute objectivity and absolute accuracy in the things that you were saying. This should be common sense. It really should. We should not be sending money to other countries, especially when they have intentions on bringing down the United States of America. To me, that's common sense. I wouldn't pay somebody to demolish my house. I wouldn't pay someone to kidnap my children. So why am I paying money that's going to allow someone to come burn everything that we've built up over here? We're not strict enough on the government. We're not strict enough on government officials, and we're not strict enough on the American people, who truthfully are the ones that should be running this country. If you're someone who is stereotypically on the left and you're like, well, I want the country to be the way that I want it to be, go back and address my claim about it being a Christian nation, then we can have that conversation. But nothing is stopping you from going into your place of residence, your domicile. You can lock the door and put whatever tails you want on yourself, do whatever sexual miscreant stuff that you would like to do. You can say whatever it is you want to do. You can paint it whatever color you want to, as long as your landlord is okay with that. It's when you're trying to push it in front of other individuals and when you can't fathom to hear anything against it, I call you a fool. I truthfully do. I got Minister Danzel right here next to me, another man of God. He won't let me do it inappropriately. I'm not saying rakah to you. I know the difference between the two. I'm saying you reject the fear of the Lord. I'm saying you refuse correction. I'm saying you trust yourself much more than God. You speak without actually understanding what you're talking about. You continue to engage in reckless and destructive behavior, of which I can go through the list, whether that's sexually, whether it's racially, whether it comes to financially. All of it is destructive at the end of the day and very easy to prove. You have a hardened heart to the truth because you get upset anytime someone says something, and you either run towards Trump or you run towards another issue. You run towards anything besides addressing the reality in front of you, and you show absolute contempt for righteousness, for Christians who genuinely do want to love you, who want to have a better future. You are a fool by the definition of the word in Scripture.
Absolutely. Couple super chats I want to read real quick, and we'll keep it moving. Shout out to Cameron Hall coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, I was trying to say they fit the definition. Okay, got you. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Just to go back to that real quick. So he said, it's amazing to me how white liberals fit the definition of white privilege more than anyone they accuse of it. Boom. There we go. There we go. We got it now. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Papa Dodd coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, don't worry, if Wise doesn't get your jokes, you ain't the first. He not gonna let that go.
No.
Papa Dodd not gonna let it go, man. He's not gonna let it go. You got to explain it in layman terms. He throws some jokes out there. It just goes over my head. It's all good. Shout out to Kelvin Cook coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, for best conversation of the week, stay woke. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you to Buttery Guy coming through with the $5 super chat. Former Democrat, I was raised to believe that we supposed to help everybody. Now I lean Republican. See, we should uplift people. Hope that makes sense. Absolutely. That definitely makes sense. Appreciate you guys, man. Hit that like button for me if you have not done so already. Thank you guys for the super chats and super stickers. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys. This is the last clip of the day. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chris Broussard. Chris Broussard is a sports analyst, but he is a follower of Christ, and he actually has a nonprofit organization that he and a few brothers started, and I cannot think of the name of it right now, but the focus is on men. That's really the focus, on men getting into the word, being family men, husbands, fathers, so forth and so on. That's kind of, and I cannot think of the name of the organization at this point, but that's neither here nor there. I want to play this clip here because I personally think what Chris is attempting to do, honestly, I think it's the Lord's work. But I want you guys to listen to this clip here, and then we'll start with the fellas. We'll start with you, AT, and then we'll go Minister Danzo, and we'll go from there.
Once said that marriage is for poor people. It offers no advantage to a man.
Yes.
So under that premise, would you get married again?
That's a good question, man. Yeah, I'll get married again because I'm getting old.
So you want a hospice wife? You want somebody to take?
Yeah. I'm getting old, shit. Yeah, I'll get married again. I mean, it's just. I hear too many of the horror stories, like especially for, like I said, old people and poor people. Like, think about a man, successful, rich man. Like, I hate seeing stories like she got 70% of his wealth,
right,
and she got the kids,
right,
and she like feel like you stripped the man down of his dignity.
Yep.
Like, I hate seeing them stories.
Right.
Man, it just drives me nuts, and it's too many of them.
Right.
And the percentages ain't in our favor.
Right.
As successful, not only black, just people in that upper tax bracket. It's just like no advantage for us. And I'm not saying don't do it. Just, wait till you get old. or you broke.
I would tell you this, as a people, and I'm talking about Black Americans as a people, you can't have too many brothers with that mentality. Because that there is, in the history of mankind, there is not an example of a strong people where family wasn't the core, where they didn't have strong families. All right. And so I've said earlier, in the African American community from 1880 to 1940, Black people were more likely, Black men and Black women were more likely to be married than white people.
I didn't know that.
From 1880 to about 1960, like I said, 90 to 80, then 80% of Black children were born in the two-parent households. We went through Jim Crow segregation, much more brutal and harsh racial discrimination, oppression than today. Table for the freedoms that we have today. And now today in freedom, we got, and this is beyond just black, this part. Because like I said, the family structure is breaking down across racial lines in America. Generally, American children have more money, more entertainment, more education, more everything than previous generations. And look at their mental health. The mental health is all jacked up because God created the family unit. And if it takes one man and one woman to make a child, then just biologically speaking, logically speaking, historically speaking, and from a religious standpoint, not just Christianity, but major religions, period, that man and that woman should raise that child that shares 50%, that shares their DNA. 50% from her, 50% from him. That's just logic. The first institution God ever created was the family. Before he created the church, before he created the nation of Israel, before he created government, he created the family. And when people created by God walk away from that, then don't be surprised when things don't work out. And so our number one mission, in my view, as African Americans, if we're serious about getting out of this position we're in, is to strengthen the Black family unit.
I've been saying that for a long time on this channel. That is something that I've been harping on, something I've been discussing, something that I'm actually living. As a man who has been married for a long time at this point, and I've been fortunate enough that my wife had come in, and help me, in this endeavor. It is very difficult. I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to have strong communities without the pillar of that family unit. You must have strong families in order to have strong communities. And then it's a trickle down effect from there, because you can't have strong cities without those strong communities. And if you don't have strong cities, you won't have strong states. And then it just kind of continues to matriculate throughout. And then you don't have a strong nation. You look at where we are today, we are fractured, we are divided. We're not as strong as we once were. And I think a lot of that, and a lot of the reason we're not the way we should be, is because our family units are in shambles right now. And we could talk about that from, the Black community and Black Americans, but you can see that actually matriculating all throughout every ethnicity in America. Birth rates are down like it's nobody's business right now. We're under the rate of replacement right now across the board. And then it ties back, and the reason why I wanted to, play this clip, because it also ties back into the mass migration that we've had here from other nations, because whether it's the illegal immigrants or the immigrants that have been able to come over here legally, their mindset is different. These people believe in family. They have a bunch of kids. Just like the one dude said, dude had 5 wives and 40 some odd kids or something crazy like that. They really believe in the family unit because they understand, in order for them to make it, in order for them to be a success, and in order for them to fulfill the goal that they have, which is to take over, certain sections, or if not all of the country, they understand that the pillar is the family. That foundation is the family. They understand that. We have lost that. And that's a lot of the reason why, when you look at, Black Americans in this nation, you look at where we are on the socioeconomic, totem pole, we're right there at the bottom. But when you see married couples, Black married couples, and married couples in general, they're the wealthiest people in the country. It's by design. It's supposed to be like that. And when you see the children that are reared in that environment, they're some of the most successful people and some of the most successful children in the country. That's just those are facts. That's just the data. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to tie that right back into everything that we've been talking about and pivot a little bit away from politics. But in all actuality, the family is actually a part of that. I think the family is the foundation of what we're seeing happen right here politically. AT, I'll give you the first word on this. But I thought this was phenomenal.
It was huge. And I don't know the gentleman that well, Chris, but I love the things that he was saying. Why is an honest conversation really needs to be had in this country when it comes down to the nuclear family, when it comes down to marriage? Because for the gentleman, I think it was Paul Pierce, who had mentioned marriages for poor people and for old people. And I love the expression he said, right? We have stripped the dignity away from men when it comes to marriages, and understand it goes across on both sides of the street. You have men who say, well, you know what? I want to do it right. I want to be able to provide. I want to have a great family, but it's so challenging to find a woman who believes in the same roles that he does. And likewise for women out there, I hear this every single day, who are Christian women who do want to do it the right way. It's hard to find those men that are willing to be that provider in that relationship and be that man. He is absolutely correct. The first thing God ever said to all of humanity was, be fruitful and multiply. It is the first command given. And the first thing our Creator ever said to us was, be fruitful and multiply. And it's the one thing that we mess up so every single day in society. We're seeing a heightened degree of selfishness that exists across both sides of the aisle when it comes to this. We have husbands who don't want to work. They don't want to provide. The idea of sacrificing, maybe I don't get that new PS5 so that the kids can eat, so that she is happy because she is supporting me. And we have wives who don't want to help, who don't want to submit, and don't want to be a man's piece in the first place. And so then we're surprised when it doesn't work out. We're surprised when it doesn't go in the right direction. And I think this comes down to all the way back to what he said. He is right. There is no modern civilization with freedom that has successfully been able to continue and advance without having a man and a woman come together. I'm not talking about the religions that have multiple wives, a lot of violence they don't talk about associated with that. I'm not talking about the Genghis Khans back then that would kidnap women. I mean, man like woman, woman like man. Man want to build for a woman, woman want to help man so he can build for woman. And they come together and have a successful marriage. We've gotten away from that. And I'm going to let the rest talk about it. I'm hoping somebody talks about the feminist movement. That was a big part of the things that started to shift. But this all goes down to, we want to have everything in the United States of America with no responsibilities. We want to be, for the men out there who can't get down with it, we want to have the sex, we want to have the support, we want to have the help, and do nothing with it so we can sit down and play 2K. And for the ladies out there, you can't tell me I can't do what a man does. You can't tell me that I'm just supposed to just help somebody. I am too good to do that. I don't want to help actually build something, uplift him, and don't you dare ask me to be a man's piece. Screw him. I want to focus on my piece, regardless if he has his or he doesn't. And if we don't fix that mentality, Wise, I 100% agree with you. We can fix the economy, sure. We can fix all the laws if we want to, fine. We will still eat ourselves alive as a nation because we simply don't understand the concept of man, woman together loyally and building something for the community.
Mr. Denzel, I'll give you the next word.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for bringing this topic up, first of all, and for including this in our conversation. AT, excellent job. I'm glad that he pointed out that marriage is very important. Ephesians, the 5th chapter, the Bible makes it clear that marriage is so important that God patterns it, that talks about it, patterns it after his relationship between him and the church. So there's no question that marriage is essential. But as AT pointed out, it's not just marriage. We have to have good marriages. All of us can testify to a bad marriage, and that can do just as much damage as a non-marriage can do. So, and this is where
Actually,
the church is going.
Minister Denzel, not to cut you off, I think it could do more.
There you go.
You know, I've told my kids the greatest decision that you are ever going to make is who you marry.
There you go.
I mean, I tell my kids all the time, I have boys, a woman, she's going to do one or two things. She's either going to help uplift you, or she is going to drag you down like an anchor. There's no in between there. It is the most important decision you are ever going to make in your life. And there's a lot of decisions that we're going to make, right? But who you choose to marry, man, that decision matters a lot, and it is not to be taken lightly.
Amen. Excellent point. Now, I'm glad you pointed out. Like I said, I'm glad that AT brought this out, because one of our problems as a society is that the church has dropped the ball when it comes to helping people develop into the proper people they're supposed to be, so that they can come together and make a good marriage. So we have people that are wild individuals that come together with another wild person, and you have wild things happening. But when you have people who are being trained, who are being taught, and I think that all of us are responsible for this, because we have to stop looking at other people and saying that they just don't have it right. if you know somebody that's a friend of yours that you're acquainted with, you living around them, it is your responsibility as a Christian to do what you can to help nurture them, to help build them up into better people, because that's what life is all about. The more good, solid marriages we have, the better our nation will be. No question about that. The question is, what role are we going to play in helping people around us become better people? I tell people in my church all the time that every one of us is responsible for striving to be the best us we can be, so that everything that we do will bring glory to God. But that's for everybody. We ought to be trying. You know somebody that's not living right, that's not acting right, that's not thinking right. You can't just ignore them and say, hey, this is the rotten people. Our responsibility as Christians is to find a way to relate to them, find a way to get to become friends with them. And then I have done this. I have seen people nurtured. I have seen gangbangers. I have nurtured gangbangers to being productive husbands. I know this can be done. And my point is that we as Christians are responsible for everybody around us that we know, that we are communicating with. We do our part to be a light to them, to nurture them. Now, everybody's not going to want to accept our help. That's fine. You can't help those who don't want help. But what about all the people that would take your help? How about all the people that would allow would come to a dinner if you invited them to your house for dinner, or take them out to lunch? Come on, saints. This is a major part of our responsibility as Christians. Never mind the quote unquote church. The church is individual believers. It's made up of a group of individual believers. So we all have to work hard at learning how to become excellent teachers, excellent supporters, and we can help people become better people, and we can make this nation a better nation.
Crystal, I'll give you the next word.
Okay. I'm going to try and keep this normal. I believe that was Paul Pierce. Was that not with Shannon Sharp?
Yeah, that was
So
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce and Shannon Sharp will want to say that it is not a benefit for a man to get married because of the 70% of wealth that they will lose to the woman that they marry when they get divorced. See, the problem is that, and I'm going to talk to both men and women, men like to choose women lustfully. And again, yes, you look at a woman, again, your eyes, you recognize her first visually, but people like them, they stop right there. They don't go any deeper. They don't sit there and say, let me seek God for wisdom on who I'm marrying. Then they end up with the gold digger, or like my buddy that's in my comments right now, who he's like a one of my favorite trolls. He loves to come in here and attack every Black woman because every Black woman is a problem. But again, it's the choices that you make. You made the choice. You can't blame every Black woman for the choice that you made. You decided to run after someone who clearly didn't have the proper value system. And then when you get married and they're toxic and that marriage is atrocious, let me just let you know real quick what the Lord says about marrying the wrong woman. Do not marry the quarrelsome and controlling wife. Proverbs 21:9, Proverbs 21:19, Proverbs 25:24. The wife who brings you shame, the foolish woman who tears down her own home, the nagging wife, the seductive, unfaithful, and destroying wife, the woman who lacks wisdom and discernment, the stubborn, loud, and rebellious woman. Do you see? The Lord gives you so much wisdom in Proverbs, but you're too busy worrying about how big her hips are, how good she looks in a certain type of dress. Will all your boys be checking her out? That's your fault. That is not every Black woman's fault. You chose to do that. So don't talk about it is not a benefit to you. Do you think God is stupid? Like, that's when people say stuff like that, you're saying that God is stupid. God created marriage. You all decided to pervert marriage. That's the difference. Do not blame God for your foolishness. We have
Preach, girl. Preach.
Women have this issue that they want that 666 man. Do we know what 666 stands for? That's that devil, that code, that Satan code. The man that makes six figures, that is 6 feet and has a six pack. That's what women look for. And then you want to know, what kind of man did I end up with? Well, you didn't choose right. You didn't
6 feet under.
Down there and say, you know what, Lord, before I say yes to this man, is this what you have for me? And then all I hear is people complaining about how horrible marriage is. Listen, marriage is not, this is not about a business deal. I love what Wives always says, because of the wealth that comes along when you're married, when you have the nuclear family. You want to know why? Because God blesses kingdom marriages. That's what he does. He blesses kingdom marriages. Marriage was created by God, not culture. And I want people to understand that. I want people to really get that. It is, people like to talk about the license, the marriage license. No, God created marriage. I want people, look, Genesis 2:18, it says, it is not good that man should be alone.
That's right.
You heard what Paul Pierce said? Well, I'm getting older, so I may have to get married. I'm not about to be a hospice wife. No, we're supposed to build together. Marriage reflects God's nature and unity. Exactly what Minister Denzel says. That is what the Lord, it was supposed to be a physical reflection of Jesus's relationship with the church. That's what that marriage was about. Marriage is a covenant, not a business contract. Somehow the other people seem to not understand that. God put that, look, Malachi 2:14, the Lord was witness between you and the wife of your youth. She is your companion and your wife by covenant. I want people to understand that because they take marriage like it's a joke. It is not a joke. Marriage is for purpose, not personal gain. This is not about, well, I got 70% wealth and she's going to snatch it and I don't want to get married again because, again, your fault, not the woman's fault. You chose wrong. You should have seen God's face. Marriage protects holiness and sexual integrity. And we have to remember that. Look at all the foolishness that's going on. As my wonderful sister in the comments, Deb Longo, says, we have a whole epidemic of single parenthood right now out in these streets. And then the kids are suffering. We see it all the time. Look how the kids are suffering from this epidemic of single parenthood. Marriage produces godly legacy. As I have said to so many people, I read that book by David Green, The Legacy Life. Again, when life, back in the day, before we had all these distractions, the family was the center of everything. It was the family. Somehow or the other, we got away from that. Now work is the center of everything. How much money I make is the center of everything. And all of us are suffering because we got away from what God called us to do. Marriage is about, as AT said, self-sacrifice, not self-promotion. This is not about you. You decrease and y'all have become one. Now it's you and her. I want people to get that. It is not a transaction, and God hates when people treat marriage casually. When you say you're just going to marry somebody because you're getting older, because you need somebody to take care of you, that's problematic. Mm-hmm. No, it is a union. God made man and God made woman. He made woman as the man's helpmate, not because she's your servant, because y'all complement each other. And when you come together as one, you can do so much in the kingdom of God. And we are supposed to be a representation. The sad part is the church has dropped the ball. The church has dropped the ball in so many things because the devil got into the church and the devil got onto the pulpits to be preaching and confusing so many people. Go back to your word. Stop listening to these preachers. Stop listening to these fake celebrities and get back to the word, because that is where wisdom is.
Hey,
and you will not end up on Maury Povich if you listen to what she just said.
Facts, absolutely. Celeste, I want to get you in there, but before you go, I just want to clarify some things. The 666, I think women would forego the 6-pack for the 6 inches. I just want to put that out there real fast. It seems like the women out there care more about that aspect of things. We talked about this on the Wednesday night show. That lady, you know, the first clip, you know, the lady, she was mesmerized. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's that lustful thinking, that lustful way of things. So I think a lot of women could care less about a dad bod these days. Long as the dude is over 6 feet, makes over 6 figures, and can handle business. And we'll leave it there. This is a family-friendly show, so we're not going to go too far.
Apparently not on Wednesdays, though, by the sounds of things.
No, sir.
No, the Wednesday evening show is for it's for the adults. It's more adults. Even then, it's still PG. It's still PG-13. We'll say PG-13. But Celeste, get in there. You can go wherever you want to go.
You made AT lay back in his chair. He was like, "What?"
I didn't expect that coming out of Wise's mouth this morning. He always surprises me.
I just wanted to clarify real fast. I just wanted to clarify. That's all.
Okay. Well, first of all, God intended, and it has always been, that marriage is beneficial to men. Married men live longer. Married men are healthier. Married men are wealthier, and marriage gives men purpose and legacy. It has only been since the liberal elite began to re-engineer society that marriage became disadvantageous to men. And they did it particularly through two things. In the 1960s, it was the introduction of the birth control pill and the introduction of the free sex, free love culture. Those were the two dominant undermining factors that destroyed marriage for both men and women. And why they were so interested in destroying marriage is because marriage is the primary political unit. The purpose of marriage is this. The purpose of marriage is for a mother and a father to transition children from adolescence to adulthood and to be a unit of protection to teach those children how to withstand changes in the economic, cultural, and environmental systems. So that is the purpose of a family. The family is supposed to take these children and get them through to adulthood. And the institution of the family is to insulate the children from all the changes going on economically, socially, culturally, and all of those, so that you can teach your values till they get to adulthood where they can practice those values. Once you destroy the family and you can get children who are not properly transitioned from childhood to adulthood, once they leave that family, now they are yours to control. So the point was always to destroy the man, to make it advantageous, because he is responsible for the institution of marriage. It is the man who has to ask for your hand in marriage. It is the man who must advance into that relationship to create a scenario where men would no longer look favorably into marriage, and to create women through this myth of sexual equality, that they can act sexually as unrestrained as they believe men are, and it would have no impact on them, so that they would become undesirable to men. Women who act that way are undesirable to men. So that so-called free love, and then the ability for both parties, the man and the woman, to evade consequence through the introduction of birth control was the death blow to the institution of marriage from what we knew in the past. And they did it for the reason they have always wanted to do it, because they want to destroy what God loves most, which is the innocence of children. They want your children, and the way they get them is by making sure that they have those children raised in a way where they are not properly transitioned into adulthood, so they can be controlled by them for the rest of their lives.
AT, I know you want to get in there and piggyback.
I had to. I absolutely had to, because this is one of the ones that's so hard for me to discuss as a man. There's another book I got right here on my desk, We Cannot Be Silent. I do not shut up about it, because it goes through exactly what she was just discussing. Not just the gay agenda. That's a real thing, by the way. Read the book. Don't get mad at me. But also the sexual revolution. And the second I come up here and talk about it, at first people are like, yeah, that's great. We don't like the idea of the OnlyFans, people sleeping around. What is it, Tinder, that people use to hook up nowadays? All the way back to the birth control, all the way back to the no-fault divorce, all the way back to all the things we used to take away the consequences of sex. But I can't always say that as a man, because I immediately get screamed at. Celeste, I got to have you at some point in time do a special on the show with me. I really do, because this is a greater issue than we actually realize. The issue is now, when we go to the modern American who wasn't alive back then, when they had all this coming through, they're maybe 20, 25 years old, something along those lines. And you say, well, hey, you really shouldn't be just testing out different women, right? What's the expression nowadays? Test it before you drive it, right? Or drive before you buy it, excuse me. Let's sleep around and make sure we're sexually compatible before we get married. Let's not talk about what I'm going to do in the marriage and what you're going to do. And let's definitely not stick to that. It sounds pretty, but when the time comes, I just want to do me. And the problem is, the dangers of this, it doesn't just impact the children that we all say that we love until the time comes to actually be a parent, and then we don't want to do it. It impacts the society around us. And to her point, it impacts you. your longevity, your overall peace, your joy, your happiness, your security, your stability, all these things have been shown to be a massive boost in marriage. But we are now in the United States of America that is filled on vanity and selfishness. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do with whoever I want to do it with. And if anyone dares challenge that, I'm going to push back against it. The idea of sacrificing selfish desires for others doesn't exist in our society. And so I'm not surprised it doesn't exist in marriages as well. And if we do not do something about it, we're just going to continue to be stamped out and silenced. At the end of the day, you ask even the men who sleep around, even the women who sleep around, is this fulfilling to you? Ultimately, y'all, look at the surveys. No. When they get to be about 40, 50, 60 years old, no, they say, I wish I would have just found one good one. I wish I would have just really not played around, not messed around, and just settled down. And by the time that realization hits, I'm not going to say it's too late because I believe in God, you understand, right? But it's more challenging for those individuals at that point in time. It's the battle of the sexes 101. Women are waiting for men to be better. Men are waiting for women to be better. I'm waiting for all of us to be better.
Absolutely.
Oh, wives, please. I'm sorry. Thank you for allowing AT to come back in. And Celeste, master class, Sister Celeste. Thank you, Sister Crystal, master class. I really appreciate your input on this particular topic. It is major. That's why I said that we have to contribute to helping the people to become what they're supposed to be, because every individual that we influence, that we are able to help nurture, makes them one less nut going out there to marry somebody or mess up somebody else's life. Amen. And there's too many. I mean, I walk around. I always pay attention to people when I'm outside in the street, and I look, and you look and see the people where they talk, the way they act. You can tell the people who are cultured, who are nurtured, and the people who have had no kind of guidance at all. And they're both out there. So my point is that I try, and I'm working with some people right now that I'm trying to pour into their life. I'm trying to help nurture them, help to encourage them to be better than what they were, so that when they meet somebody, they can have a good relationship and have a wonderful family. Last thing I want to say about this is that you two sisters on this panel, if you're not married, good brothers, good men, y'all better pay attention. So this is what good women look like. Now the Bible says in Proverbs 18:22, whosoever finds a wife, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. So he's looking, y'all looking, these some good women up here. Y'all better do them right.
Crystal will fumble it, but yeah, I'm with you, Minister Danzo.
Amen.
Whatever.
Oh no! Shots fired! Wow.
Wise, because he always picks on me because I never. He's like, Crystal, that man was hitting on you, and I'm like, he was. He was like, yes. Why didn't you recognize that? I'm like, listen, I need somebody to be very upfront with me. Like, if you're interested, you say, Crystal, I'm interested in you. Because if you're doing that around the mulberry bush, I'm not going to get what you're trying to tell me.
Be a man about
Ronaldo, I hooked you up. She told you what you got to do. All right. You got to say the line, and she's yours. You got it.
Now, Crystal, go back in the chair.
Uncle Ro. Couple super chats. Shout out to Steven coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, restore the family, restore the culture. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kenny Cooper, as well, for coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, I would get married in a heartbeat, but honestly, what women nowadays want, a good old-fashioned Christian gentleman.
Good old-fashioned Christian ladies.
That's right.
Yeah. Kenny Cooper was trying to put his bid in the other day for Crystal. I don't think she was paying much attention. I think he threw some subtle hints out there, and she wasn't paying attention to that either.
Subtle like a nuclear bomb, yes.
Shout out to Kenny Cooper again, coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, love the women from the inside out, not the other. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You see that, Crystal? He let you know. He's showcasing. Shout out to 2020 Vision coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, y'all cooking with bacon grease right now. Sheesh.
Truth set you free.
Okay. Shout out to Hunter coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, my hot take, but if you do not follow Jesus, you should not be allowed to get married like we Christians do.
I don't disagree with that, and I have to just say, Wise, you can do all the other stuff, right? You can cohabitate, you can go on to leases together, you can rent stuff together, you can do all the stuff. You do not need to pervert marriage just because it's something that Christians say that you can or cannot do based off of the actual scripture.
Absolutely. All righty. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Shout out to everybody in the chat that pulled up. I think at one point, man, we were at 1,200 people in here watching live. So, Minister Danzel, you are famous. You got a lot of love. You got a lot of love in the chat, Minister Danzel. A lot of love. Wow. Celeste as well. Celeste.
Amen.
Superstar.
Amen.
Superstar.
Thank
we had
God.
to showcase the book. I think that was positive.
I want to thank you all for that. I really do. I'm so appreciative in the chat and on the panel. You know, I'm somebody who went a long time in my life without a particular purpose, and God gave me a ministry, and I'm grateful for Him for that, and for you all too, that you read it and understood. I really appreciate it.
Celeste, and if I may, I have to say, I'm grateful you wrote it. There's a lot of people out here who do not do the writing, who do not do the work, who do not put themselves out there. This is absolutely fantastic. Once again, for anybody who is here, just skip the #1 from McDonald's. Y'all know that costs about your unborn child nowadays anyway, right? Skip that one to Netflix subscription if you have to. Do something to better yourself. Go to Amazon. Go ahead and get it. It is not a hard read. I'll say it again, right? Wonderfully written, and you will actually learn something from it in a fun way. Thank you, Celeste, for being able to put yourself out there. I'm looking forward to talking to you about this, because I think this should be in front of everybody's hands.
We have to do an interview too. I want to interview you too, sis.
Okay, look at it. Boom. Boom. We're making connections. If you have not picked up The Ass Backwards Way to Move Forward, a tongue-in-cheek guide to poverty and misery, if you have not picked it up, go get the book. Go check it out. Hey, the holidays are coming. A lot of you guys are going to have time off, you know, for Christmas and things of that nature. You could get through this book in a couple of days. If you really get into it, honestly, you could get through it in a day if you would like to. But I know you guys are going to have some time, you know, as we get closer to Christmas. I know most places, if you work for a good company, they're going to let you off for the, you know, last week or so of the year. Take some time, go check it out. And honestly, I read the book, and one, I thought it was something, I was like, man, I wish I'd have had this, you know, about 18, 19, because it could have saved me some drama, you know, some unnecessary drama that I went through in my life. But I do think, man, it's a phenomenal book for everybody, but especially for young people. Some of these young people, you know, on the verge of getting their life started. I mean, the information in this book would save you. It'll save you some heartache, some drama, probably save you a whole heck of a lot of money, so forth and so on. Go check out the book. It's on Amazon. Not hard to find. Not hard to find. Go check it out. We got a superstar over here on the panel. Shout out to Celeste, man. Shout out to Celeste. You know, but appreciate you guys. Thank you, Celeste, Crystal, AT, Minister Danzel, Chris from Courageous Media. Thank you guys for pulling up today. I enjoy doing these. I actually look forward to these conversations on Friday. So I do appreciate you guys pulling up and hanging out. You guys, obviously, I say it all the time, but I just want to let you guys know that I do appreciate it. You guys are a blessing to me, for sure. And I do appreciate it. I don't take it for granted at all. Shout out to my Blues, everybody in the chat helping to keep things peaceful. I do appreciate you guys as well. All my ARP family members, everybody that supported the channel financially this morning, thank you guys very much as well. All the folks that support via Cash App, all the people that have bought your brother a coffee, I do appreciate you guys as well. Shout out to Eric Plummer. He always comes through via Cash App. Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, the weekend's here. Enjoy it. I mean, it's not a whole lot for us to do out here. We got snow, so it's not a whole lot to get into out here for us. So I'm probably going to be in the house all weekend. But for those of you guys that have warmer weather, get outside, go touch some grass, as Crystal says. Get outside, go touch some grass, get off a screen, you know, get off these computers. Go enjoy yourself. Enjoy the weekend. Lord willing, we'll be back at this thing Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. As always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Y'all take care, man. Peace.
God bless.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.